Hello, this is Benjamin Price, and today I will be talking with Andrew Green, the creator, executive producer, and showrunner of the new Apple TV Plus original series, Puppy Place. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Great. Thanks for having me.
There's an old show business adage, never work with children or animals. With Puppy Place, you chose to do both. What were the joys and challenges of working with puppies every day?
Yeah, I'd heard the adage my whole life, and then I finally lived it. Well, the joys were clear. It was, the puppies, the dogs. We had a crew and a cast that happened to be all dog lovers. So it was just they're just fun to be around. They're unpredictable. They're sweet. It's everything we're trying to say in the show, and the dogs brought it. Challenges, dogs, unlike most of the actors, or I should say most actors, dogs don't always do what you tell them to do. You want the dog to go to the left, the dog goes to the right. The dog wants to take a nap or do whatever, the dog does what the dog wants to do. So it was always a bit of a challenge. Every dog had some challenge, and we had to adapt to the dogs as much as the dogs had to follow the script.
Well, and is there any kind of learning curve with actors where they have to learn to act around pets?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question. The actors certainly, all of our actors had experience with dogs, but not working with them. So, mostly insofar as the blocking, where they were moving in the scenes, and how to, maybe adjust the dog, when they pet the dog on one side as opposed to the other, so they could adjust the dog to camera, and just rolling with it. We had a policy that we knew we weren't always going to get exactly what was scripted with the dog. So, just roll with it, see what the dog does, and do the best you can.
Roll with it's not a bad mantra with many things.
Yeah, for sure.
And what was the experience of bringing your own pets to set? Your mini dachshund has a role in the show.
That is true. Who happens to be on my lap, actually.
Oh.
So this is Bruno, and he's 18 and a half. And so Bruno is, he's older, and he needs me. He didn't like being left at home, so I started bringing him to work, and he kind of became the show's mascot unofficially. And then we were doing an episode, actually, which is not in our first 8, which is the one that's dropping right now, but it's in our second batch. We were doing an episode that had some senior dogs in the story, and one of the trainers came up to me and said, "Hey, we all love Bruno. How would you like to put him in the episode?" And so I was like, "Great, this will immortalize Bruno," and rewrote the part a little bit, made him the character of Bruno, an 18-year-old dachshund with bad back legs, and it was incredible. I mean, it was like life and art coming together in a super special way.
Well, and what are the chances that your pig makes gets a
Basil,
starring role next season?
I really hope so. He's got a little arthritis now, so we have to get through that because he doesn't like to walk as much as he used to. But I would love to get him on an episode. Yeah.
I mean, the spinoff writes itself. Piggy Place.
There you go.
Go to Apple.
Believe me, don't think I haven't thought about it. Can you even see him? I think he's. Can you see him in the background there? He's lying down there.
Oh yeah.
Basil. Anyway,
I haven't had this yet with the Zoom interviews. The pet angle.
Well, there you go. There you go. There's always something new.
So you've worked on everything from Hannah Montana to Insatiable as a writer and executive producer. But with Puppy Place, this is the first time you're serving as a showrunner. Can you just describe sort of a day in the life as a showrunner, particularly on, yeah.
Yeah, well, there are kind of 3 stages that a showrunner is involved in a production, right? There's pre-production when you're in development and you're working out the idea. And so those days were, a lot of writing of the pilot, working with the studio on the concept, the vision, what we wanted to do. That was, then you get to casting the pilot, casting your series regulars, hiring the writing staff. And then, it moves into the next stage, which is really spending all day in the writer's room with the writers, working out the stories, working out the season, and figuring that out. And then once production starts, things get much busier. You're sort of split between the writer's room and being on set. And that, that's supervising what's being done on set, the shooting, rewriting. There's a million things, there are a million departments. There's art and there's hair and there's makeup and there's, everything. And so, you have to make sure your department heads are all in sync and working together. So it's pretty busy. And then once you're done shooting, you move in the last stage, which is post-production. So I'm in editing all day long and sound mixes. And you kind of have your hands in everything, and it's great. It's exhausting, but it's great.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Puppy Place is a lot about puppies finding their forever homes. I hope I'm not taking from the log line there or anything like that, but
that's it.
So that's true off screen too. Can you talk a little bit about how some of the K9 cast members in the show found their forever homes through it?
Yeah, it's really cool. So, so each of our stories is based on a book from this book series, and each book focused on one particular dog, and that was our dog of the week, our dog guest star. And our trainers, we had amazing trainers who were really connected, and they were able to find, every breed we wanted. Because in the books, it's a specific breed. There's a Dalmatian in this episode, and there's a Border Collie in that episode. And, a bunch of the dogs were looking for homes. And there was a line for people in our casting crew waiting to adopt these dogs, because everyone falls in love with the dogs. The dogs would come a couple of weeks before we'd start shooting to work with the trainers, to get acclimated, to meet the cast, to meet the crew, to get comfortable. And, always, everyone loved the dogs. And there was always someone who was like, that dog, that's the dog I want. Usually there were like 5 people. So I think we adopted, in season 1, I think 11 of our crew members adopted dogs. One of them took a pair, because we had a pair of dogs, a brother and sister. And then I think a few others were adopted by people connected with the show that weren't right on our crew. So it was super, super fun. And then the other great part about that is the dogs that are now living with the crew members got to come back. They got to come back and say hi and hang out with everyone again and see their old friends. And, the cast, the kids in the cast, just, they formed, real bonds with these dogs that they're working with and acting with. So it's great. It's a big family.
Coming series regulars by default.
Yeah, no, for sure. 100%.
And talking about the book series, what was your first encounter with the books?
So I had a meeting with one of the executives over at Apple TV Plus, and I had mentioned, this was before I knew anything about the books. I said, I'd love to do a show in the world of animal rescue, dog rescue ideally, because it's something I'm really passionate about. What I didn't know was that Apple had been securing the rights to this book series, The Puppy Place, that they've been working on for a while, that they were really excited and passionate about. So, it was long after the meeting, they called me up and they said, hey, we got this book series. We'd love for you to read it and read some of the books and give us your take if you wanted to pitch on it. And I did, and I love the books, and I saw them as, I saw what my vision, at least for the show, was, and we talked about it, and they were on board, and that's how it all went down.
And thus, what we're here talking about today.
Here we are.
Thank you so much for talking with me. Puppy Place, 8 episodes drop October 15th, Apple TV Plus. Great talking to you today. This is Benjamin reporting for Kids First, signing off. See you next time. Bye.
Can you believe this used to be a dolphin?